Hello, my friend, and welcome to my channel. For today's session, we are going to be doing an energy healing session with some ASMR components for standing up for yourself. This is a great session for pairing with our Divine Masculine video. I really wanted to highlight this aspect of the archetypal Divine Masculine energy. When we have the ability to stand up for ourselves, to make our needs known, to be clear about our wants, to set boundaries, to communicate and express directly the impact that others have on us. This can free up so much beautiful energy. It can help us to release a lot of resentment, and it can help us to really open up a lot of freedom. So much of our time can be spent trying to navigate these different aspects, and I find that very often if we just ground ourselves in our sense of self-worth, if we really tap into the solar plexus for that sense of confidence and strength and empowerment, then very often it can make things so much easier once we are able to trust that worth and directly express ourselves. And I think that others very often will respond in kind, with respect, once they understand where those edges are, where the boundaries are, where you feel comfortable. And when you're able to say, hey, that wasn't okay, then you're really telling yourself that you are worthy of standing up for. So, let's begin by doing a little bit of clearing. I'm going to use some selenite wands. And we'll get started. So I'm going to take these selenite wands and I'm going to start at your crown and move down. So we're going to brush down. Selenite is great for a gentle, energetic cleansing. Selenite doesn't hold on to energy, any negative energy that it might encounter. It just sheds, releases. So it's a great one right when you come into your home, or maybe even when you're leaving, just to kind of cleanse and clear and set yourself up either for the day or whatever you might be encountering outside of your home, or kind of shedding anything that might be hanging on from the day. So it's a great stone. Self-cleansing, like I said, it's also a great stone to cleanse other stones, great stone to cleanse jewelry or different metals. So, particularly focusing here in the throat and clear clearing that space to provide some flow and movement so that your expression, your ability to communicate can really start to flow and have a deep connection with your solar plexus. We're going to really be activating this area, and that's where I'm going now, the same way like we did in the throat, but here just above the navel. Just clearing and cleansing, clearing and cleansing. Yeah. And this way, now I'm going to take the larger of the two selenite wands, and I'm just going to draw a little channel from the throat up to, or from the solar plexus up to the throat, from the throat down to the solar plexus. So inviting in a gorgeous connection here. Borrowing the energy from one to really activate the other. And great. So what I'm going to do now is take a clear quartz point, and I'm going to draw the activation symbol just outside of your throat and outside of your solar plexus. Okay, so this is our clear quartz point, and I'm going to use this to sort of really focus that energy. When we use things like points, it's great for focusing the energy, focusing the intention, especially with something like clear quartz. It's very activating. It's also programmable, so you can program the clear quartz with an intention, with the properties of another crystal or stone. So I like using clear quartz particularly for that activation. So I'm not going to actually touch your throat with the clear quartz point, but we're going to just do it right outside. So you might feel a little sort of tingling from the energy here, but I'm not touching you, okay? Inviting in an open channel from the throat down to the solar plexus. I'm going to come from the back and move to the front. So coming from the back, moving to the front. Really opening up this space and this area here in the throat. Getting a sense of expansion in the throat, hopefully providing you with a confidence in your voice, believing in your voice, believing in the power of your voice. And then here, just doing the same thing, kind of wrapping from the back to the front, right outside of the solar plexus, a few inches above the belly button, just to invite in a sense of kind of being enveloped in this strength and empowering energy, pulling energy from all around the physical and energy bodies to focus that in the solar plexus here. Gorgeous. And just inviting that sense of fluidity here. Gorgeous. So now we are going to light our candle and set our intention for the session. Okay. Do you find that you have been in situations where you have needed to stand up for yourself a little bit more? It can be such an intimidating thing to do, particularly if we're unaccustomed to it. But you're worthy of respect, and you're worthy of communicating the impact that others have on you. And we can't control the way that others receive. And I know I mentioned earlier that very often people just like to know the edges. They want to know where your boundaries are. But sometimes, people really don't like being told that they're doing something wrong. So sometimes people really push back, or sometimes it can just be uncomfortable. And sometimes it can put a strain on the relationship. But ultimately, your relationship with yourself is more important. So if you feel you're being disrespected, or if you feel like you really need to take a stand, that's more important than your relationship with someone who's not really aware of the impact they have on you in the first place. Obviously, we don't want to go around just saying F it to the world but we should all be more comfortable, I think, stating our needs and our wants. It's hard. I'm not trying to say it's easy. It's hard. But this is hopefully to support you in the journey of trying to figure out where those edges are for you and how best to communicate when you do need to stand up. Something that's come up recently that I think is sort of interesting is this idea that when we are confronting someone and the person who might be having a negative impact on us, maybe they're being disrespectful, maybe they're crossing a boundary, maybe it's just kind of difficult to be with them. Sometimes these people can be sensitive. Sometimes these people can be fragile. Sometimes when people hurt us, they're going through their own stuff. And I think a big question comes up, and I completely understand it, of that this person, they're really struggling right now, or they're really going through this, or they're having a hard time, or they're really sensitive and I don't want to hurt them. And it's not always a fear that's about, I'm afraid that they're going to dislike me, or sometimes it's a fear that you're going to hurt someone if you say something. Very often I think that can be the case. And for me, that's the hardest. It can often be sort of a simpler process when you're very clear on, that this person maybe is a bit callous or acting callously, or where you feel like there might be a conflict or a confrontation when you do stand up for yourself. Sometimes that's easier than knowing that if you were to stand up for yourself and say to somebody, that wasn't cool. This is the impact you have on me. And I don't like that. I don't like it when you do that. When you do that, it makes me feel bad, frustrated, whatever it might be. And when we say that to somebody who is really going through something or sensitive, the fear then is, is this person is delicate and fragile. Am I going to hurt this person? And when we go about it in that light, we're not honoring their own ability to tap into their empowerment and their strength. We're not trusting that they are capable of understanding what boundaries are. And also, we are really prioritizing their needs above our own. When we tell somebody the way that they impact us, it's giving someone an opportunity to show up in a way that is more comfortable for us. To understand better how to be with us. So while that's a tough one to move through, I think it is really important. Okay, so you can't really see the flame, and I'm worried oh no, there we go. Actually, if I flip it up towards you, it gets burns a bit brighter. So on behalf of your highest, wisest, most empowered and aligned self, in loving comfort and perfect balance, I wish to conduct this Reiki session for empowering your ability to stand up for yourself. For prioritizing yourself and your wants and your needs. And for believing in your own worth, how valuable you are. Now, if you'd like to clarify the intention that we've set, feel free to do so now. You can use this flame as long as your intention is in service of your own and anyone else's highest, wisest selves. Okay. I'm going to light a little bit of incense, and we are going to draw the sacred symbols. I'm almost out of my what is the cedar wood? Incense. And it is my favorite incense ever. I got it in the redwoods, and I need to get some more. It's just the perfect balance of earthiness and sweetness. Okay. Just outside of your heart center, join the sacred symbols. Just using the smoke to clear and cleanse in your aura, anything that's not serving the intention that we've set. Okay. Lovely. I'm going to get a few stones and we're going to move those through your aura, really helping to activate your ability to stand up for yourself, to kind of stand tall in your own integrity, and to really trust in your own sense of self-worth. So I have 3 stones, all of which have a very similar color scheme. So we're going to start first with this raw tiger's eye, gorgeous piece here. And tiger's eye is wonderful for empowering the solar plexus, your sense of strength, validating yourself, perseverance, confidence, kind of boosting your energy, your self-worth. And I think when a stone is raw, that really gives it a much more punchy energy, a much more I love tiger's eye, and I love raw tiger's eye. I love polished tiger's eye as well. It's almost sort of just this like chant, just like, you got this, you're amazing. Polished stones are great just to sort of build up that energy. There's something about raw stones which are great in certain applications for really like, defibrillating that energy, really boosting it, really charging that energy. And come on, you can't beat that. It's so gorgeous. So I'm going to come a little bit closer and I'm just going to move this through, particularly in the mental plane, connecting that with the throat and the solar plexus, but we're going to do a lot of work up here with it. So, coming through, really inviting in this empowered energy into the mental plane. If you need a boost and a reminder of how worthy you are of making your own needs known, expressing yourself, standing up for yourself, just allow this stone to whisper to you right now. You are worthy of sticking up for yourself, of taking a stand. You are worthy of letting people know the impact that they have on you. You are worthy, empowered. You can move through this experience with confidence. You've got this. You've got this. You've got this. Okay. Just doing the same thing we did with our clear quartz, just connecting the solar plexus with the mental plane and the throat. Inviting in a real openness here, real openness. And when you are confronting someone or standing up for yourself, some powerful stones that I would suggest are tiger's eye and sodalite. I think that can be so helpful for really boosting our ability to communicate and trusting in our own power, like sitting comfortably in your power while you say, I didn't think that was funny. Or, when you say something like that, it makes me feel like this. Or, I would really appreciate it if you didn't do that again. Or, what did you mean by that? Whatever it is that you need to say, having just any tools around, having anything when you're confronting someone like that, when you're really standing up for yourself, it can be so helpful just to know that you've got that in your back pocket, I find. So we're going to be playing around with a few more stones. This is Septarian. This is a great stone for setting boundaries. It's a compilation of several different stones. Aragonite, I think it's yellow calcite in there, and another one, I think it's a jasper. But it's a great stone for setting boundaries. And so really helping people understand where your walls are. We'll let people in. We talked about generosity of spirit, and that's so important. And it's also so important to balance that with setting boundaries. When we know where our walls are, then we get to choose, okay, you can come in, or you know what, when you do that, you're not allowed in. And not having shame around that. So many of us, myself included, have shame around kind of setting those boundaries and saying, actually, my needs are worthy of being expressed and being respected. And it's just important to value ourselves enough to set those boundaries, to know our perimeters, and to be able to communicate those. So Septarian, well, it's not going to go in and into your voice box and speak for you. I do think that it provides a real boost for you and a real kind of grounding in your understanding of your own worth, and that we all need to set boundaries, all of us. Brene Brown talks about how the kindest, most, not open-hearted people, what does she call them? Wholehearted people are the ones who have the strongest boundaries. And I think that's true. When we know what someone's perimeter looks like, then we know where the door is. You know what I mean? So, using the Septarian, and now we're going to use this petrified wood. It's really helpful when we are engaging in this kind of energy. It kind of takes all this very swirly energy and like very punchy poppy energy to do something like stand up for yourself if you're not accustomed to it. And what's helpful in those moments is just grounding, doing whatever we can to ground, going out in nature for a little bit, deep healing breath and breathing, breath work. But whatever you can engage in to help yourself ground, whether that's watching a video that can help you kind of soothe and calm down and regulate, or whether it's that you need to kind of stand in a posture that can help you really solidify your power, the hands on the hips, Wonder Woman pose can be really helpful just for in telling your mind through your body that you are powerful, you are confident. And so we want to do whatever we can to just ground ourselves. Just ground yourself. Imagining like this petrified wood, these tree roots going down beneath your feet and branching off into the earth, that the earth has your back, you're being held, you're being supported, There are so many energies around you that are swirling all around you, that want you to win, that want you to succeed, that want you to, speak your truth, understand your worth. There are so many energies that are holding up and supporting you. So doing our best to just surround ourselves with that understanding, with tools that help us to remind us of that and really boost that energy within us. So we're going to start by just moving these through the mental plane. Stones are great for distance healing, I find. I love using stones all the time, but they're great for distance healing. I feel like they help the energy really pass through time and space. So you can even take some stones and maybe make a little altar or grid where you can just send this energy into the future, holding these stones or placing these stones maybe on an intention. Write it on a piece of paper and place it beneath some stones that are going to support you in the future when you need to stand up for yourself. Sometimes even when we just kind of look out for our future selves like that, it's an act of self-love and self-care. So now I'm just moving down and connecting throat to solar plexus. To root. I am going to get my owl rattle. We'll thicken up your aura. Okay. You are divine. You are connected. You are expressive. You are loved. You are strong. You are creative and emotionally balanced. You are safe. You are safe and protected. Safe to stand up for yourself, to stand up for what you believe in, to stand up for others. You are safe and secure and protected, and you got this. Thank you so much for joining me. As always, it's such a pleasure to connect with you. And yeah, thank you for your comments and your requests. They help me create the playlist for this channel. So thank you. It also really helps me to be able to feel more connected to you when I know what you're going through and when I know what kind of challenges you're moving through. we all move through collective challenges, globally, but we all move through different things on an individual level, depending on where we are, depending on what stage in life we are. So there's so many things that connect us as a collective, and there are so many things that we move through individually. And so I love hearing your comments, and as always, it's just so beautiful. If you haven't been able to read these, it's so wonderful when one of you comments something that you're moving through, and then it creates a kind of chain of people talking about their experience with that, and you're just all so supportive and so wonderful. So I don't know how I got so lucky. I talk about this with my friends a lot. I'm just like, what? These people are so kind. It's crazy. It really gives me a lot of hope in humanity. So thank you. And I hope you have a beautiful rest of your day or night. Until we meet again, be so well. These are the ritual healing boxes. I just wanted to show you inside. This is actually the self-love box. Each of them come with 2 crystal-embedded tea candles and 3 gemstones. So this one has a rose quartz, a green aventurine, the same large incense cones. This one is a gardenia. And with this rose and vitamin E anointing oil. So it's rose with a vitamin E carrier oil, and that's just to kind of anoint yourself. You can do it on pressure points. I like to do it on my temples or behind my ears. And then you can have them in this box. Just kind of keep them here with your crystal collection. So the link is in the bio if you're interested. Thank you to everyone who's purchased one, and I hope you feel the love that I put in. Okay. Can you come up on the pillow? She just wants cuddles. Come on, Mama. For today's video, I just wanted to do a little chakra activation. And just doing a little bit of balancing and aligning. But this is a new kind of video for me. I usually, speak directly to the collective instead of the individual. So that always happens when I'm trying to do it like a perspective. Maybe your perspective on things is a little clouded at the moment. I'm not sure if that resonates with you, but that's what I'm getting here. But just sort of being aware of what is coming in so that we can be more prepared to make that decision. I love metallic sounds. It's like clicky clacky sounds. But it does have kind of a funny smell. I'm not gonna lie, when I first was used. But amethyst is a really great, spiritually aligned stone. Can help with clarity, mental fog, really helps us see soberly. Invite some more mindfulness and some